Audio be on है? Okay. एक बार can online students confirm if I'm audible? People who are watching the video on YouTube, please once confirm if I'm audible. Yes, perfect. Good evening, friends. So we have been doing Yojana in our booklets so far, but what we have decided is from now on, every second Saturday, we will fix for Yojana. This would ensure that for no reason at all, I skip it. And every third Saturday, we'll be dealing with Kurukshetra. We are taking classes on Saturday, Sunday, weekly current affairs classes on Saturday, Sunday. So second Saturday would be for Yojana and third Saturday would be for Kurukshetra if it is relevant. For example, this month's Kurukshetra is on science and technology and that is highly relevant. So we would be dealing with it. Okay, so before I start this series, a few disclaimers. First, when we cover these magazines, I would add more things into it. Sometimes when we read a Yojana article, it's full of factual content that would not be useful for our examination. So I would remove all those things. I would only bring in those things which are relevant for your exam. Not everything that is given in Yojana which may not be relevant. First thing is this. Second, in some topics like today, Indian maritime, most of the topics are very similar, like coastal erosion, marine plastic pollution, climate change in coastal area. These are all very related topics. So the class may get a bit boring. Please bear with me. Okay, you would feel like the same things are getting repeated again and again. But what I've tried to do is I've tried to include these topics with the syllabus given by UPSC. So if you will go to environment ka syllabus, environmental pollution is mentioned there. So when we talk about plastic pollution, that is a part of it. Conservation is mentioned there. So when we talk about coastal erosion, that is a part of it. Similarly, climate change related topics have been asked in the examination, though not directly mentioned, but it conservation ke andar ya environment ke andar it gets asked. So climate related things we have done. Blue economy is a very hot topic, we would do it. Some sections on defense are there, we would be covering it. Fine. So I hope all of you have clarity on what we would be doing. On Sunday, tomorrow we will be doing the normal weekly current affairs, like EWS ka judgment aaya hai, wo sari cheezein, we will be dealing with that. So from today, every second Saturday would be for Yojana and every third Saturday would be for Kurukshetra if these two magazines are relevant, if that month's magazines are relevant for our preparation. If those are not relevant, some random weird topics are there, we would not cover it or maybe cover them very selectively. Fine. Are we all comfortable? Are we all ready? For those of you who are watching this on YouTube, like some of you may be watching it on YouTube and are not part of our course, you can go to the description and see the link of the Telegram channel where we would also upload the PDF, the summary of these magazines. Now, again, while preparing these PDFs, I have ensured that nothing relevant is left behind. So you do not have to cover the 60-page Yojana. Ye 15 pages mein ye Yojana ka study material hai, that would be enough. You would not need to do, like you will not need to go through that entire big magazine. It's not very big, but because of a lot of advertisement and all, it appears big. You will not need to do that. Similarly, you would not need to go through Kurukshetra. I'll be covering each and every aspect. And for those of you who are my students, आपको पता है मेरा coverage, तो वो complaint भी नहीं रहेगी. On every Saturday we'll do Yojana, or not on every Saturday. एक महीने में एक ही बार योजना आता है ना, तो on every second Saturday. Fine. Will it be free? हाँ, it's free. मतलब इसके लिए अलग से पैसे ले लूँ क्या? नहीं. It is free. It is both Yojana and Kurukshetra are part of this free initiative only. Sir, target prelims के time पर भी, when the target prelims program would start in January, will we be doing it? Yes, we would continue doing it. योजना कुरुक्षेत्र we would keep doing. आप मत देखिएगा, जब आप मेंस के लिए प्रिपेयर हो रहे होंगे तब देख लीजिएगा, बट दिस वुड बी अ continuous initiative at LevelUp IAS every second Saturday, Yojana every third Saturday, Kurukshetra. Fine. Now, should we start today's class? First topic that we are starting with is blue economy. Blue economy. Now, what do we mean by blue economy? Acha, before understanding what blue economy is, do we understand what is ocean economy? Ocean economy or marine economy. Do we understand this? It basically means economic application utilization of oceanic resources. So it would cover things like fishery sector, it would cover shipping sector, like shipping would also be part of this ocean economy, it would cover mining sector, it would cover let's say tourism, it would cover coastal shipping, it would cover other such aspects. Now, when with this ocean economy we add sustainability, we add environment friendliness, we add conservation, the term that we use for that is blue economy. At very basic level, this is blue economy. Ocean economy is economic exploitation of oceanic resources, resources that we get from ocean or that is available because of ocean, like shipping sector is available because of ocean, and blue economy would be adding sustainability to it, adding inclusiveness to it. Inclusiveness means the weaker section should also benefit out of it. Then we call it blue economy. Are we all comfortable with it? Do we all understand what is, we will go to the exact definition given by UN or given by World Bank, given by Yojana and all, but पहले ना वो basic idea, basic purpose clear हो जाना चाहिए. अभी clear है? What are we referring to as blue, referring to blue economy? Blue economy refers to sustainable use of ocean resources for economic growth, for improved livelihood and inclusive development while preserving the health of ocean ecosystem, that is while ensuring sustainability. Fine, because we keep hearing this word blue economy, blue economy, blue economy regularly, we should clearly be able to differentiate it from ocean economy, or why are we using the term blue economy and why not marine economy or ocean economy. We should understand that. In fact, in simple terms we can say sustainable ocean based economy. Blue economy is sustainable ocean economy में sustainability add कर दो, it is blue economy or greening of ocean economy. Ocean economy में add green characteristics, add environment friendliness, add sustainability, it becomes blue economy. Fine, ये चीज सबको समझ में. What is blue economy at very basic level? Now there's one more aspect. Blue economy is also conceptualized as shared development spaces. Why? Because when we talk about ocean, for sustainable development of ocean or for sustainable extraction of resources from ocean, it is very important that there is cooperation among different countries. If there would be competition, India would be competing with Sri Lanka, competing with China, competing with Bangladesh, then we will not focus on sustainability. We will focus on exploitation. कौन ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा ले लेगा? And that is why blue economy, we are saying that it is also conceptualized as shared development spaces. Fine. So blue economy overall encompasses marine-led growth, protection of marine ecosystem, and enhanced maritime security also. So when we'll talk about what steps should be taken to endorse or strengthen blue economy system in India, we will also refer to promoting maritime security. So Indian Coast Guard would be one of the enablers of blue economy in India. Without maritime security, blue economy would not be complete. Fine. ये लेट क्यों आते हैं लोग? लेट आने वाले लोगों को मुर्गा बनाया जाएगा. और मुर्गी बनाया जाएगा, नो डिस्क्रिमिनेशन। फाइन, तो ब्लू इकोनॉमी का पूरा पर्सपेक्टिव समझ में आया। इकोनॉमिक यूटिलाइजेशन ऑफ ओशन while keeping inclusiveness in mind, while keeping greenness or sustainability in mind, while understanding that when we'll talk about blue economy, we'll consider the ocean as a shared space, not for greedy exploitation, and finally while ensuring maritime security. Blue economy would encompass maritime security as well. ये बात समझ में आई ब्लू इकोनॉमी की प्रॉपर अंडरस्टैंडिंग? यस। Anyways, it would need no. See, maritime security mein we are not saying that naval forces expand karo. We are saying Indian Coast Guard. Indian Coast Guard would prevent piracy. If piracy would happen, then pirates would not be or illegal fishing. Illegal fishermen are not sustainable fishermen. Illegal fisheries जो कर रहे हैं वो तो किसी भी तरीके से exploitation करना चाहेंगे, इसीलिए security is important. And that's why I'm saying that Indian Coast Guard would be one of the enablers of blue economy. Fine, ये बात समझ में आ गई। ब्लू इकोनॉमी को बेसिक लेवल पे समझा हमने। Will we all be able to write a proper definition if a question on blue economy is asked? Fine. Now, in India, currently, blue economy accounts for 4% of the GDP. But we know that the potential is much higher. So if we remove the hurdles which are there, if we remove the problems which are there, this percentage contribution of blue economy in India's GDP would extend further, would increase drastically. So what are the broad sectors which we include in blue economy? So देखो, fishing, maritime biotechnology. Now what is maritime biotechnology? We have covered biotechnology. Do we understand what biotechnology is? Maritime biotechnology क्या होगा? Biotechnology was extracting things which are useful for humans from biological sources. तो जब आप marine sources से medicines extract कर रहे हो, ये बाकी चीजें extract कर रहे हो, then it becomes marine biotechnology. So marine biotechnology would be part of the blue economy. Mining, we have spoken about mining. Now mining can be oil drills and all those things, but here we are specifically, those things are included, but here we are talking about polymetallic nodules or polymetallic huge sulfides. What are polymetallic nodules? Polymetallic nodules are golf to tennis ball sized nodules which contain nickel, cobalt, iron, manganese, etc. and are discovered 4 to 5 kilometers in water depth. Over the years, these metals have been collected there and are available in the form of nodules. Similarly, polymetallic huge sulfides, these are metallic sulfides which have been formed because of volcanic activities. Water penetrates into the underwater volcanoes, it revolves around, extracts some metal, comes back on the top and it gets collected. So those kind of things, when we the blue economy would encompass mining of these resources as well. Then offshore wind energy, tidal energy. Wind energy हमने detail में पढ़ा था last time. So offshore wind energy, we had understood two kinds of offshore wind energy. One was no ऑफशोर में दो टाइप पढ़े थे हमने, कौन कौन से थे? एक फ्लोटिंग और एक फिक्स्ड. फिक्स्ड वुड बी ऑन शैलो वाटर्स एंड फ्लोटिंग वुड बी इन द डीप वाटर, राइट? तो ऑफशोर विंड एनर्जी और टाइडल एनर्जी वुड आल्सो बी, एक्सट्रैक्शन ऑफ दिस वुड आल्सो बी पार्ट ऑफ ब्लू इकोनॉमी. देन shipping sector altogether, shipbuilding sector. Now shipbuilding would happen on the land, but why is it happening? It's happening for the maritime trade and all those purposes, so it will include that also as part of blue economy. Then if you look at Indian Ocean is a significant economic corridor. A lot of international trade takes place through this. We would include this aspect also when we are considering blue economy. Then maritime tourism and leisure, ये समझ रहे हो, ये भी इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी है which will get us revenue. Cruise and all those things, it would when you go visit Goa for tourism purpose, it is kind of blue economy, a component of blue economy. And finally education and R&D. Education and R&D would be very crucial for proper or sustainable utilization, economic utilization of marine resources. Because till the time we will not study, when we are doing this activity, is it harmful for the environment? Is it sustainable? Or if we are doing fishing, how much fishing should happen in what region? We only then will we be able to truly achieve blue economy का concept. So these are different areas. So देखो, why are we covering these areas? Now these areas were not listed in Yojana. There was another research paper which was published in ORF which talked about all those things. मतलब योजना में जो blue economy वाला chapter है ना, आप पढ़ेंगे आपको मजा नहीं आएगा बिल्कुल भी. It's very like factual, कुछ data इधर उधर से. They have taken 2 articles, one from IBEF and one from PIB, और उसको मिला के बना दिया है. और उन्होंने resources में अपने references में बताया कि these are the 2 articles that have been taken. So it's not very good. I've gone through a few ORF articles in order to bring in these dimensions so that अगर आपसे पूछा जाएगा कि blue economy इंडिया में अचीव करने के लिए what are the areas do we need to focus upon, or what are the steps government has taken, so you will think of these dimensions, and to promote these dimensions, what steps government has taken, what more that is needed, you should be able to answer those aspects. Fine, ये बातें समझ में आ रही हैं सबको? Blue economy का perspective. Okay, now key government initiatives. Now I have not listed all the government initiatives because again I am very much focused on mains examination. Mains examination में आप 3-4 points लिख पाओगे, 4-5 points लिख पाओगे in key government initiatives. But because we have listed this aspect, आप शिपिंग सेक्टर को प्रमोट करने के लिए इंडिया क्या कर रहा है, पोर्ट डेवलपमेंट के लिए इंडिया क्या कर रहा है, टूरिज्म के लिए इंडिया क्या कर रहा है, what are the माइनिंग प्रमोट करने के लिए इंडिया क्या कर रहा है, एजुकेशन एंड R&D वाले सेक्टर में इंडिया क्या कर रहा है, यू कैन टॉक अबाउट ऑल दोज एस्पेक्ट्स, राइट? बट generally it's not possible to write all those things. That's why I've listed only a few things. Why or what are the steps India is taking to promote blue economy? So last year in 2021, India has come up with a draft. Please note that it is still a draft. It has not been finalized yet. National policy on blue economy. Even abhi July August mein, government has said that India is finalizing its national policy on blue economy. Now, abhi because it's still a draft, we will not go in its details. But when we look at its aims, it will give us a clear-cut idea about what do we need to focus on in blue economy. Like, look at its aim. The goal is to increase blue economy's contribution to India's GDP. Abhi it's around 4-5%. Improve the lives of coastal residents. People in coastal areas generally face a lot of problems, lot of issues. Improving their living conditions, protecting marine biodiversity, sustainability, and ensuring national security of maritime areas and resources. So broadly, you understand किन किन areas पे blue economy में focus रहेगा. Do mangroves come under blue? हाँ, जब coast आ रहे हैं तो mangroves का conservation would also be making our blue economy idea inclusive, sustainable. Okay, now the 4 objectives of this draft national policy are creating a framework for robust mechanism, sustainable framework for national coastal marine ecosystem, framework for domestic manufacturing, emerging industries, trade, tourism, technology, service and skill development, and framework for ocean governance. Now, what are we trying to say? Basically, this policy will give a broader framework of the kind of industries that you need to promote, of the kind of mechanism by which you will govern the oceans, of the marine ecosystem, how it should be dealt with, a robust mechanism to overall promote blue economy. Okay, it's saying that. Other than this, we have taken a number of steps to promote fishery sector in recent years. We can and fishery sector ko we are trying to make sustainable. So it is also a contribution to blue economy, an effort towards an initiative towards promoting blue economy. So you must be knowing about integrated development and management of fishery central sponsored scheme, CSS. It was a scheme that was launched in 2015 with an allocation of 3,000 crore rupees. It was focused on promoting fishery sector, bringing in blue revolution in India. Fishery wala revolution. Then recently, Fisheries and Aquaculture Infrastructure Development Fund was launched in 2018-19, FIDF, Fisheries and Aquaculture Infrastructure Development Fund. It helped, this fund helped state governments, This fund helped private entities to improve fishery related infrastructure, storage, processing, and those kind of. Then during COVID-19, we launched Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. It was focused on increasing fish production plus improving the processing and infrastructure facilities or in the fishery sector. So fishery sector का sustainable development के लिए we have launched various initiatives in recent years. I have just listed 3 of them. But again, जब हमने fishery पढ़ा था, have we covered fishery sector? अभी नहीं. जब हम fishery sector cover करेंगे, तब there would be lots of things that we'll talk about. In blue economy, we will just mention कि fishery sector को promote करने के लिए भी certain steps have been taken. Then various steps to fight coastal erosion and marine pollution. Abhi, there are separate topics in this booklet which are focused on coastal erosion and marine pollution. We'll look at those. Fine. Something as simple as banning of single-use plastic is a step which will contribute to blue economy, because most of the litter that goes into ocean is plastic, and most of the plastic that goes into ocean is single-use plastic. So marine pollution fight करेंगे, it will add to sustainability, it will contribute to blue economy. ऐसे ही coastal erosion को रोकने के लिए हम जितने steps ले रहे हैं, we'll talk about coastal erosion also in this topic. That is also our effort towards promoting blue economy in the country. Similarly, CRZ notifications of 2019. CRZ notification हमने पढ़ा है अभी? नहीं पढ़ा अभी? ठीक है. CRZ notification 2019 में what we did, we increased protection of coastal area. Like under CRZ, what happens is coastal area is categorized into different categories and different areas, different zones. Coastal area is categorized into different zones. Different zones have different level of protection. So here, in 2019, we increased the protection. At the same time, in certain situations, we relaxed the protection. So that earlier, what was the situation in intertidal zone? Low tide से high tide वाला जो zone होता है, वहाँ पे any kind of infrastructure was not allowed. But this affected tourism, because for tourism sector, you need to create temporary infrastructure, temporary washrooms, etc. in the place on the beaches. So those relaxations were made in the CRZ norms. But अभी और detail में CRZ norms जब पढ़ेंगे तो उसको और detail में cover करेंगे. Fine. Okay. So I have tried to list 4-5 things, but again, you know, hundreds of various factors. Various sectors which are included within blue economy. So you can also talk about the steps that we are taking to strengthen the coastal forces, Indian Coast Guard. You can also talk about the steps that we are taking to let's say Sagarmala project, India में ports develop करने के लिए, sustainable way में develop करने के लिए जो steps ले रहे हैं, all those things would be contributing to blue economy. Again, I'm just trying to help you. Once you understand blue economy, steps which have been taken to support it would become very easy. It would just be like by next year, by the time you write your mains examination, I'm hoping that this policy would be finalized. तो पहला point जो आपको लिखना चाहिए वो policy से related होगा, and then about each of the sectors, write down about them. It would be good enough. Neeraj is saying, sir, should we make notes as well for your class? Hey, notes, these notes I have given. Go to the description of this channel and यहाँ पे Telegram पे आपको notes दिया हुआ है. Sir, more blue flag beaches also comes in blue economy. देखो, blue flag beaches हमने पढ़ा है ना? Efforts towards blue flag beaches is ensuring what? Is it ensuring sustainability? Yes. It's promoting cleanliness. It's promoting safety. Right? So it is promoting sustainability. It will promote tourism. Economically beneficial plus sustainable also is a component of blue economy. Do we understand this? Right. Okay. So benefits of blue economy. Benefits I do not need. I've just listed certain things, but I hope you have understood it. Economic growth, which would be more sustainable, which would be more inclusive. It will reduce poverty. It will ensure food production and overall more opportunities. Better governance of maritime ecosystem. Environmental benefits like lower pollution, biodiversity protection. Mitigating climate change. Blue economy would ensure that we are not destroying our mangroves, we are not destroying our coastal vegetation, we are not unnecessarily polluting and emitting CO2. All these things would also help us fight climate change. Synergy with SDGs. We have the global community have identified 17 goals. One of the goals, goal 14, is about life below water. Blue economy, the concept of blue economy protects life below water, helps in its sustainable growth. It also has geopolitical benefits. Blue economy would lead to cooperation among countries. Indian, देखो, think of, this is India. यहाँ पे अफ्रीका का कॉन्टिनेंट है, मैं इंडिया जैसे ही बना रहा हूँ उसे भी. नाउ इंडियन ओशन रीजनल एसोसिएशन में वी हैव दीज कंट्रीज. यहाँ अफ्रीका से शुरू होते हैं एंड गो टिल हियर. नाउ व्हाट हैपेंस इज इंडियन ओशन रीजनल एसोसिएशन में they are working on blue economy as well. They are working towards sustainable growth. Will this cooperation strategically be beneficial for this region? Yes. Think of BIMSTEC. We have studied BIMSTEC. BIMSTEC में कौन कौन सी कंट्रीज थी? कौन बताएगा? अमित बताएगा. अमित बताइए आप. हाँ, बे ऑफ बंगाल वाला ना. तो श्रीलंका, इंडिया, बांग्लादेश, म्यांमार, थाईलैंड एंड इंडिया के साथ नेपाल और भूटान फ्री. दो दे आर नॉट पार्ट ऑफ बे ऑफ बंगाल, दीज आर द 7 कंट्रीज व्हिच आर पार्ट ऑफ बिम्स्टेक. तो बिम्स्टेक भी वन ऑफ द फोकस एरियाज ऑफ बिम्स्टेक इज आल्सो प्रोमोटिंग ब्लू इकोनॉमी. अगर हम इकोनॉमिक लेवल पे कोऑपरेट कर रहे हैं, विल आर कोऑपरेशन एट स्ट्रेटेजिक लेवल इंक्रीज? यस, इट विल इंक्रीज. Will tensions between us reduce? Yes, it will reduce. So it will have geopolitical benefits as well. Then high return on investment. Various studies have shown that if we invest 1 rupee for the promotion of blue economy, the return that we get is of 5 rupees. This return on investment is huge, and thus the studies tell government ki bhai spend money in bringing sustainability in ocean economy. That will be more beneficial in long run. Fine. So blue economy क्यों beneficial है? Now challenges that we face, that we are facing to achieve the idea of blue economy in Indian Ocean. Now these kind of things are not given in योजना. Please understand. अब सिर्फ योजना भी कवर करना हो ना, तो मैं आधे पेज में सारे मेजर इश्यूज कवर कर सकता हूं, but that would not be enough. Now challenges to achieve blue economy, these kind of things they don't give. आजकल योजना बहुत ही फैक्चुअल सा हो गया है. मतलब कुछ साल पहले योजना जब आता था उसमें बहुत क्रिटिसिज्म और एनालिसिस रहता था, बट दिस योजना वाज रियली वेरी वेरी फैक्चुअल. देयर वाज हार्डली एनी क्रिटिसिज्म देयर. they were hardly discussing problems which are there. So what are the challenges? What are the problem? First challenge is, अगर आप इंडियन ओशन रीजन में जाओ, most of the countries are developing countries. If the countries are developing countries, they would lack resources, capacity, skills, all these things, technologies, all these things would hamper achievement of blue economy. Investment चाहिए, sustainable infrastructure चाहिए, coastal pollution को reduce करने के लिए you need efforts. If these countries were rich countries, they would have contributed a lot. If these countries were technologically developed countries, these countries could have developed solutions which are cost effective as well as beneficial for blue economy. But they being developing countries, India के neighborhood और Indian Ocean में countries being developing countries is a cause of concern. Got it? Similarly, this region, Indian Ocean region, has around 1/3 of the world's population, and this population is also heavily dependent on marine resources. Because of this, what happens? We sometimes go for unsustainable extraction of resources. This unsustainable extraction of resources leads to pollution, leads to habitat degradation, leads to overexploitation, exactly opposite of blue economy. Exactly opposite to the goal. And why is this happening? Russia के coastal area में चले जाओ, population density is not high. They even if they want कि हम थोड़ा extract करेंगे resource, that would be fine. But if you will go to Bangladesh region, very high population density, developing country, in this scenario, you would want to extract as much resource as possible. Right. Third reason, general climate change, sea level rise, ocean acidification. climate change, sea level rise is causing salination of the region. Sea level rise is leading to coastal people in coastal areas facing more floods, facing more such issues. It is again blue economy achieve करने के लिए हम क्या चाहते हैं कि these people live a comfortable life, inclusive life, sustainable life, which isn't possible in this scenario. Then there are governance challenges as well. In spite of various efforts, illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing is rampant in Indian Ocean region. So, if you want to achieve blue economy, suppose government or government authorized boats are extracting less fish, but ye illegal fishermen, illegal companies are exploiting environment, then would we be able to achieve the goal of blue economy? No, we won't be. This is another problem. And finally, absence of effective cooperation in the region. While studying SARC, हमने SARC पढ़ लिया है. While studying SARC, we said that South Asia is one of the culturally very, we have a lot of cultural similarity, but still we are one of the least integrated region of the world. Go to North America, go to Europe, go to ASEAN, you will see that those regions are very integrated. They are cooperating a lot, but we haven't been able to had a SARC summit in last 8 years. 2014 में हुआ था 18th SARC summit, 19th SARC summit has not taken place. Cooperation होना जरूरी है, right? Else competition and unnecessary extraction of resources. तो 4-5 problems भी which is making the achievement of blue economy a challenge. Finally, what is the way forward? How do we deal with these challenges? सबसे पहले first thing that we'll have to talk about is भाई ocean में if you have to bring sustainability, you'll have to first ensure that countries are cooperating together. If we are not cooperating together, if we are not working together, then even if India stops illegal fishing from our side, and if it keeps happening from Sri Lankan side and Pakistani side and Myanmar side and Bangladesh side, even if we try to reduce pollution, if pollution is happening from their side, right? अगर हमें cyclones से लड़ना है, all of us will have to work together. So, promoting cooperation in this region is very crucial, and here organizations like IURA and BIMSTEC, their roles have to be enhanced. I have not written SARC because SARC is redundant for now. We'll see when it is reactivated and becomes useful again. Second, adoption of marine specific policies. When we are talking about, let's say, fishery sector, we are saying that infrastructure improve करेंगे, ये सारी चीजें, aquaculture promote करेंगे. In all those initiatives, we should always keep a marine angle in mind. When we are talking about promotion of tourism, how tourism will impact coastal area, how tourism will impact the deeper ocean, how oceans can contribute in increasing tourism. Can we promote more cruises? Transportation, if we right now when goods are transported from, let's say, Gujarat to Tamil Nadu, it's mostly from buses and trains. Why not coastal shipping, which is safer, very less expensive as well. So we are saying that we need to come up with marine specific policies in order to achieve the goal of blue economy. Then to achieve the goal of blue economy, we'll also have to improve our infrastructure and human resource. Infrastructure improve करने के लिए we are working on Sagarmala, which is focused on port-led development. We'll talk about it in details, but at the same time, when the concept of blue economy is developed, we would need more people who are working in shipping sector. We would need more people who are working in tourism sector. We would need more people who are working in blue economy as such, right? So we need to create human resource for this sector. Government of India has taken certain initiatives, but we need to come up with more such programs in our colleges, in our higher educational institutions. Shipping sector, shipping engineering ke more courses we need. Tourism pe more courses we need. Marine tourism pe more courses we need, so that human resource would be available when we would be reaching our full potential in blue economy. Then R&D, as we were saying, कि R&D के बिना we will never be able to go for sustainable growth. We have to take data based decision. अगर हम ये करेंगे तो ये फायदा होगा. If we'll do this, then this would be the loss. Only then we'll be able to take sustainable steps. Focus on sustainability. Every step that you take, see if it's creating pollution, see if it's leading to climate change, see if it will lead to more erosion, see is it damaging mangroves, see is it damaging other kinds of ecosystem. And finally, strengthen Coast Guard. Maritime security is an integrated aspect. Without it, blue economy would not be possible. So Indian Coast Guard, you would see, is the major maritime law enforcement agency in India. It's playing a bigger role in averting major pollution incidents, in anti-poaching activities, in search and rescue. It also has a lot of role in anti-piracy activities. So with the achievement of blue economy, the scope of all this work would further go up. At that time, we would need Indian Coast Guard to be more strengthened. We should start focusing on that thing right now. So in conclusion, we are saying that the blue economy in India is poised for significant growth in the next few years. The blue economy mission undertaken by government can lead to the sector becoming next economic multiplier, depending on the execution of policies that have been decided, depending on the steps, whether the steps that we are suggesting are being taken or not. Fine. The idea of blue economy, the components of blue economy, the advantages of blue economy, the limitations in the sense what are the problems which are still hindering blue economy, and the steps that needs to be taken. और क्या पढ़ना है एग्जाम में, और क्या पूछ लेंगे? Right, when the policy is finalized, we will look at the provisions of the policy and we'll talk about that as well. Comfortable? Clearly, किसी को कोई doubt? From now, when the idea of blue economy is discussed, whether in IR or in economy or in environment, I hope all of you are really comfortable about it. Fine. Let me see the online doubts. Lisbon Declaration has been adopted and that is of great importance for sustainability and greater opportunities. Yes. राइट अभी हम लिस्बन डिक्लेरेशन की भी बात करते हैं. जस्ट यही डाउट है, वेरी लेस डाउट. इट सीम्स आई एम अ गुड टीचर. और किसी को कुछ भी समझ में नहीं आ रहा, पीपल डोंट केयर. कंपोनेंट्स मान लो, व्हेन यू हैव टू, ऐसे नहीं कि सपोज यू हैव टू एनहांस द cooperation of contribution of blue economy in India's GDP. Which are the sectors you'll be working on? Which are the components you'll be working on? You'll be working on fishery sector, you'll be working on mining sector, you'll be working on shipping sector, you'll be working on coastal security also. है ना, किस किस एरिया में काम करोगे वो बताएं. फाइन, लेट्स गो टू सागरमाला और पोर्ट लेड डेवलपमेंट. यस, प्रोटेक्शन ऑफ कोरल्स. तो जब हम बोल रहे हैं ना कि पोल्यूशन नहीं होना चाहिए, वो सब वी आर सेइंग कि दीज एस्पेक्ट्स शुड आल्सो बी टेकन. नाउ लेट्स टॉक अबाउट सागरमाला प्रोजेक्ट और पोर्टलेट डेवलपमेंट इनिशिएटिव. एंड बिफोर वी गो टू सागरमाला और पोर्टलेट डेवलपमेंट का आइडिया, लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड व्हाई डिड वी नीड सागरमाला काइंड ऑफ इनिशिएटिव. व्हाट वाज द नीड ऑफ इट? व्हाट वर द प्रॉब्लम्स इन द एग्जिस्टिंग सिस्टम that a Sagarmala kind of comprehensive initiative was required. पहले वो समझते हैं. देखो, when we look at merchandise trade, generally when we talk about ports, we talk about ships, we talk about goods reaching ports and then being exported, or goods coming, being imported and then reaching hinterland. We talk about these things. The contribution of merchandise trade in India's GDP is only around 40%. अब contribution of merchandise trade 40% का मतलब ये है कि इंडिया के जीडीपी में जितनी चीजें प्रोड्यूस हो रही हैं उसका only around 40% is something that is imported or exported or इसमें आ रहा है. Now this number is way below the potential. If you'll go to Europe, if you'll go to developed countries, this number may be 70-75%. So one, in the shipping sector, we are not doing well, and because we are not doing well in shipping sector, what happens is our ports take a lot of time, our shipping is expensive. This increases logistic cost in India. So it becomes very difficult for our businesses to compete with businesses outside the country, because their shipping cost, their cost of logistic cost is much lower than that of India. तो अगर हमें ease of doing business भी promote करना है इंडिया में, if we have to get in more investments, then we need to focus on this area where we reduce the cost of transportation. Where we reduce the cost of transportation. Fine. ये बात समझ में आई? Now, why is it so? Why is the contribution of shipping sector so low? Why logistics is so expensive? What are the factors there? What are the challenges there? First is, there are multiple agencies which are involved in, for example, industrialization, trade, tourism, transportation, etc. Now, shipping sector ports बना रही हैं, Ministry of Industries पे focus कर रही है, but it's a separate ministry, so it is setting up industry somewhere else. Ports कहीं और है, then transportation is adding to unnecessary cost. If there was coordinated approach, then ports के पास हम industries लगाते, cost of production कम होता, और we would have ensured that industries से ports तक पहुंचने के लिए there are संसाधन available. संसाधन is means available. आजकल मैं पोइट्री ज्यादा पढ़ रहा हूं तो हिंदी वर्ड्स आ जा रहे हैं. तो there are means available. If there was, so this multiple agencies was one challenge. I'm saying was one challenge because Sagarmala is in play now. Similarly, when it came to ports, there were dual institutional structure. There were major ports which were managed by central government. There were smaller ports which were managed by state governments. Lack of coordination there again created problems. Then lack of requisite infrastructure for evacuation. ये समझा है? Evacuation मतलब goods which are being manufactured in Delhi or Delhi's neighborhood, they have to be evacuated to the ports. Or goods which are being imported to India, raw material which may be imported, have to be evacuated to industries or have to be evacuated to the market. Lack of that was a problem. Limited hinterland linkages, limited development of center for manufacturing and urban and economic activities in hinterland. What are we trying to say here is, because of poor evacuation infrastructure, जो hinterland areas है, वहां पे not a lot of industries came up. If waterways, railways, roadways were connecting these ports effectively with hinterland areas, industrialization could have taken place in those areas as well. Notice something carefully. Look at the coastal India or states which are located in southern India. They are economically well off when compared to states like Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand, which are in the hinterlands. Because industries would find it easy to go there. So, port se connectivity is another challenge which have affected India. Low penetration of coastal and inland shipping in India was a challenge. Inland waterways is not that well developed. Limited mechanization on our ports. A lot of things were done manually, which increased the cost. Procedural bottlenecks, lots of procedure, lots of delays. Lack of scale, deep draft and other facilities at various ports. Indian ports, some smaller ports do not have deep draft facilities. So big ships cannot directly reach ports, and that leads to unnecessary transportation cost. Again, all these things become problematic. These were the challenges which Sagarmala aimed at solving. Before jumping onto Sagarmala, we have to understand कि भाई जरूरत क्या थी सागरमाला की, जरूरत क्या थी पोर्ट लेड डेवलपमेंट की. यू हैव सम डाउट? नहीं, ऐसे ऐसे हाथ ऊपर नीचे हो रहा है. कुछ पूछना तो है पर पूछता नहीं हूं सर, थोड़ी बेइज्जती कर देंगे. ऐसा क्या? नहीं. नाम क्या है आपका? अमर्त्य, अमर्त्य, अमर्त्य क्या क्या मतलब होता है? इमोर्टल। अच्छा अच्छा, ऐसे इमोर्टल हो आप, ऐसे छत पे चढ़ के कूदना जरा। अच्छा चलिए, सागरमाला। ऐसा होता ना, जो हमारे पेरेंट्स हमारा नाम रख दे रहे हैं, हम वैसे ही होते, नाम तो बड़ी तमन्नाओं से रखते हैं। अच्छा, आज तो तमन्ना भी है क्लास में। नाम तो पेरेंट्स हमारे लगते रखते हैं कि भाई हमारा बेटा अमृत क्या बनेगा, अमृत्य बनेगा। किसी का नाम राम भी गणेश राम भी रखा होगा कि वैसी वैल्यूज होंगी। अवतार भी रखा होगा। अवतार बना ना, वो रावण का अवतार बना वो, है ना। किसी का विजय भी रखा है, वो हारता ही रहता है। सूरज कुमार ओझा बोले सर आप बहुत बेइज्जती करते हो वैसे क्लास में। यार अभी तो कर भी नहीं रहा हूं, मैं तो जनरल बोल रहा हूं। मेरा नाम संतोष रखा है, मेरे को किसी चीज में संतुष्टि नहीं मिलती अदर देन बिरयानी खाने में। मतलब तो ना, ऐसा होता ना कि मेरा नाम संतोष रखा होता और मैं संतोष में रहता, सही रहता ना। चलिए, तो सागरमाला, व्हाट इज सागरमाला इनिशिएटिव? मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ शिपिंग का इनिशिएटिव है, वेयर द फोकस इज ऑन पोर्ट लेड डेवलपमेंट। पोर्ट, पोर्ट को हिंदी में क्या बोलेंगे? बंदरगाह। अच्छा, बंदरगाह क्यों बोलते हैं? नहीं पता ना, अच्छा बंदर क्यों है वहां पे। चलिए, पोर्ट एंड डेवलपमेंट विच इज सेंटर्ड अराउंड पोर्ट। A development which is centered around port does not mean that all the industries would only be set up there. It means that जो hinterland भी होगा, that should be connected to the port, so that that area would also be able to develop. This Sagarmala initiative or port-led development initiative is trying to leverage our 7,500 kilometer का coastline, which can contribute a lot in international trade, in increasing merchandise trade. It is aimed at eventually reducing logistic cost for international as well as domestic trade. This logistic cost makes businesses very difficult. कोई विभाष है क्या क्लास में? विभाष आप ही हो ना? ये सूरज बोल रहा है विभाष का मतलब पूछो, नहीं बताएंगे। अच्छा मेलेडी, भाई सूरज मेलेडी है। चलिए, एनीवेज कम बैक। तो फिर से सागरमाला, पोर्टलेट डेवलपमेंट, डेवलपमेंट जो पोर्ट्स की वजह से फुल फ्लेजेड हो सकता है। इट्स फोकस्ड ऑन दैट ओवरऑल एम, मेन एम इज कि रिड्यूस द लॉजिस्टिक कॉस्ट फॉर इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड एज वेल एज फॉर डोमेस्टिक ट्रेड, ट्रेड विच इज टेकिंग प्लेस फ्रॉम वन स्टेट टू अनदर, और reduce the cost of transportation from hinterland to ports. So how are they, like what are the steps that they are trying to take? Optimizing the cost of transporting domestic cargo through optimizing nodal mix. Let's understand this. Domestic cargo का transportation cost reduce करना है by optimizing nodal mix. Means in some place road transport may be cheaper, easier, beneficial. In some place railways may be beneficial, cheaper. In some place waterways may be beneficial, cheaper. तो ये जो अलग अलग मोड्स हैं, इनका एक मिक्स निकाल के, ऑप्टिमल मिक्स निकाल के, रिड्यूसिंग द कॉस्ट ऑफ ट्रांसपोर्टेशन ऑफ डोमेस्टिक कार्गो. In international trade we cannot bring this modal mix. Like international trade would happen through shipping, but domestically this efficient modal mix would be created. Yes, it includes all the modes of transportation, roadways, railways, inland. Inland भी बोला था ना मैंने, इसने सुना नहीं, इसका ध्यान कहीं और था. अरे मैंने भी बोला कि what is meant by modal mix. It includes roadways, it includes railways, it includes inland waterways, it also includes coastal shipping. डोमेस्टिकली जो ट्रांसपोर्टेशन होना है। सेकेंड, ऑप्टिमाइजिंग टाइम एंड कॉस्ट फॉर एग्जिम कंटेनर, एक्सपोर्ट इंपोर्ट का कंटेनर मूवमेंट का टाइम एंड कॉस्ट वी हैव टू ऑप्टिमाइज बाय स्ट्रीमलाइनिंग प्रोसेसेस, बाय इंप्रूविंग इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, बाय इंप्रूविंग एम्प्टीइंग एंड फिलिंग वाला सिस्टम, लोडिंग एंड अनलोडिंग वाला सिस्टम, लोअरिंग लॉजिस्टिक कॉस्ट ऑफ बल्क कमोडिटीज, बल्क और हेवी कमोडिटीज का लॉजिस्टिक कॉस्ट रिड्यूस करना है बाय लोकेटिंग फ्यूचर इंडस्ट्रियल कैपेसिटीज नियर द कोस्ट और नियर द पोर्ट। देन इंप्रूविंग एक्सपोर्ट कॉम्पिटिटिवनेस बाय डेवलपिंग पोर्ट प्रॉक्सिमेट डिस्क्रीट मैन्युफैक्चरिंग clusters. Okay, the prime objective is to promote port-led direct as well as indirect development and to provide infrastructure to transport goods to and from ports quickly, efficiently and cost effectively. Therefore, Sagarmala project also aims to develop access to new development regions with intermodal solutions and promotion of optimal modal split. It involves development of coastal economic zones. जैसे देयर आर स्पेशल इकोनॉमिक जोन्स होते हैं, ऐसे ही अराउंड पोर्ट्स कोस्टल इकोनॉमिक जोन्स वुड बी डेवलप्ड वेयर वेरियस काइंड ऑफ टैक्स बेनिफिट्स वुड आल्सो बी प्रोवाइडेड फॉर इंडस्ट्रीज टू कम अप एंड गेट एस्टैब्लिश्ड देयर। There are three pillars of Sagarmala initiative. One is port-led development. Second is port infrastructure enhancement, modernization of ports, loading and unloading facilities, allowing bigger ships to reach ports and all those things, and effective evacuation to and from hinterland. Not only ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए ना कि सारी इंडस्ट्रीज फिर पोर्ट्स वाले एरियाज में ही जाएं, इवन हिंटरलैंड से इफेक्टिव इवैक्यूएशन एंड वहां पे सामान पहुंचाने की फैसिलिटीज शुड बी देयर। फाइन, ओवरऑल द आइडिया ऑफ सागरमाला, आर वी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड? नाउ देयर वाज अ प्रॉब्लम अर्लियर। प्रॉब्लम वाज कि यार there were very many ministries involved. Tourism is being looked after someone else, transportation is being looked after someone else, road transportation is being industries is being looked after someone else, and Ministry of Shipping was doing something else. So Sagarmala is an amalgamation of various projects categorized into port connectivity, freight expressways, coastal tourism, offshore storage and drilling platform, pipeline for crude transportation, shipbuilding, repair and recycling, logistic park warehousing, etc. And thus this initiative coordinates with other ministries. One of the key ideas behind this initiative was there would be effective coordination with other ministries. You will see its examples. We'll come to that. Now, अभी तक हमने जो port-led development की बात करी, we have looked at economic aspect. But Sagarmala is also focused on improving the quality of life of people living in the region. How is it focused on that? So under Sagarmala initiative, there are various initiatives for skill building, upgrading of technology of traditional profession. Skill building, you understand? Upgrading technology of traditional profession. What is traditional profession? Fishing can be one of the traditional profession. Food processing can be one of the traditional profession. Usme technological improvement, improving physical and social infrastructure in collaboration with coastal states, physical roads, etc. Social infrastructure, health, education facilities in these regions. Sagarmala initiative is also focused on that. In fact, there is a coastal community development plan which include skill development, coastal tourism, development of fishing harbors and R&D in port and maritime sector. इसके अलावा there is Center of Excellence in Maritime and Shipping which has been launched under this initiative. इसके अंदर two such centers have been developed in Vizag and Mumbai. Through this, we are developing human resource for shipping sector. Then Sagarmala program is also in coordination with other ministries and state government are also providing funds for capacity building, infrastructure and social development projects related to value addition in fisheries, aquaculture, cold chain development, etc. For promotion of tourism also, you would see that it is coordinating with Ministry of Tourism and state governments under these initiatives. It is developing what is called coastal circuits. जैसे अपने रामायण सर्किट है, बुद्धिज्म सर्किट है, it is developing coastal circuits under Swadesh Darshan scheme. Development of infrastructure for promoting cruise tourism is there. Do we understand what cruise is? Cruise to like आप अगर कोस्टल एरिया में जाओगे तो आपको शिप से उसे क्रूज ट्रिप बोलते हैं, वो आपको अंदर दूसरे आइलैंड्स पे लेके जाएंगे, घुमाएंगे, दैट इज क्रूज टूरिज्म. डेवलपमेंट ऑफ लाइट हाउस, अभी हमने रिसेंटली लोथल पे मैरीटाइम हेरिटेज म्यूजियम के बारे में पढ़ा था, दैट्स ऑल्सो इनिशिएटिव in collaboration with Ministry of Tourism of Ministry of Shipping to promote tourism in the coastal areas. Then underwater viewing gallery and restaurant at Bek Dwarka. This is another place in Gujarat जहाँ पे underwater viewing gallery and restaurant is being developed, which will further promote tourism. So Sagarmala is not focused only on ports and shipping. It's focused on inclusive development. It's focused on human resource, it's focused on skilling them, it's focused on promoting tourism, and is thus a more holistic scheme, a more holistic initiative when compared to previous port development initiatives. Fine. Sagarmala initiative, are we all comfortable about it? Okay. Marine plastic pollution. Let me take these online doubts. So बंदर वाला चीज पे सृष्टि जी बता रही है, सर माय गूगल सर्च गॉट दिस बंदरगाह etymologically it combines Persian word band enclosed and dar gate meaning an enclosed area. बंदरगाह an enclosed area, उससे they must have got this port वाला area का meaning. Okay, thank you सृष्टि जी. श्री चरण सर, is the Bharatmala and Sagarmala complementary or is Sagarmala port of Bharatmala? Or are they totally different? These are two different initiatives. Yes, they will complement each other definitely, but these are two different initiatives. Sagarmala is by Ministry of Shipping. Bharatmala is by Ministry of Road Transport and Highways. है ना? Bharatmala is focused on two things. One, इंडिया का जो बॉर्डर लैंड बॉर्डर एरिया है वहां पे अच्छे क्वालिटी के रोड्स बने, प्लस उन्हें कोस्टल रोड से कनेक्ट करे. तो भारतमाला में व्हाट वुड हैपन, विल हैव roads which look like mala around India, right? Sagarmala is focused more on coastal area. Fine. Let's talk about marine plastic pollution. है ना, ज्यादा बोर मत होना, सिमिलर टॉपिक्स अब योजना है उसी पे, तो मैं क्या कर सकता हूं, है ना. जनरली we study different kinds of topics. कोई एक साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी का होगा, कोई एक गवर्नेंस का होगा एंड ऑल, बट प्लीज बेयर विद मी. आई एम अश्योरिंग यू दिस, आप अपने मेंस तक, अभी से मेंस तक के जितने योजना और कुरुक्षेत्र आएंगे उसके ना इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक्स कर लोगे ना, आपका बहुत सारा प्रिपरेशन. आप देखोगे एक बार गवर्नेंस पे भी योजना आएगा, पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन पे योजना आता है, डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट पे योजना आता है, सिलेबस पूरा होता जाता है. हम बाकी करंट अफेयर्स भी करेंगे, बट if we start doing it systematically, we will definitely, अब तो time allocate कर दिया ना, second Saturday and third Saturday, you would see that your preparation would become more effective, your preparation would improve a lot. Now let's talk about maritime plastic pollution. So what is marine litter? Marine litter is any solid waste that is disposed of by humans accidentally or by knowingly into the ocean. That is marine litter. Now most of the marine litter is plastic because other forms of litter gets decomposed. It is plastic which remains there for a long period. Reasons for increasing marine litter: one is a slow degradation of plastic. Second, why marine litter would increase? Population is going up, more plastic is being used, industrialization is increasing, more consumerism is happening, more and more plastic is being produced, and we have not yet developed mechanism for proper recycling, reuse and sustainable management of plastic, and that is why this is going up. Now what are the harmful impacts of plastic pollution or marine plastic pollution? So देखो, health impact would be there, health impact on us, health impact on marine population. In fact आप देखेंगे ऊपर हमने दिया हुआ है, around 8 million tons of plastic end up in the world's ocean every year. It is estimated that more than 1 lakh of turtles and marine mammals die every year due to these plastic marine litter. It is estimated that 18,000 plastic pieces are floating on every square kilometers of the world's ocean. So it creates health issues. In fact, हमने जब प्लास्टिक पोल्यूशन डिटेल में पढ़ा था, वी हैड सीन दैट इवन इन ह्यूमन ब्लड plastic has been found. In all the samples which were tested, plastic was found. That was microplastic. Microplastic would further disintegrate into smaller form. That is called nanoplastic. And nanoplastic has the potential to even penetrate cellular membrane, enter the cell, go to your brain and create problems. So it can create a lot of health issues. It can create a lot of those problems. Then it threatens marine ecosystem. Animals get trapped in the litter. They also sometimes confuse marine litter with food, end up consuming it, that toxic, undigestible thing. There is something called ghost fishing. Ghost fishing is, fisherman is not fishing, but still fishes are getting trapped and killed. जब आपका net वगैरह से आप फेंक देते हो, it goes into ocean. Fish or turtle, they get trapped into it. Now, fishermen or fisher folks are not there to catch that fish, but they're still getting trapped and they're still getting killed. This is the phenomena of ghost fishing. So overall, this would negatively impact fishery and tourism sector. There are many other pollutions. It would impact coral reefs also. वहाँ पे a lot of plastic would go, है ना? It would impact other aspects also. What are the steps that have been taken to deal with marine plastic pollution? सबसे पहले a study to understand the extent of marine plastic pollution. तो marine plastic survey program of NCCCR, National Center for Coastal Research का एक national marine plastic survey program है, which is studying the coastal areas on the Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal side, and it has found that of all the marine litters that was observed, 50% is single-use plastic. I'm not saying 50% is plastic. Plastic total और भी ज़्यादा है. Single-use plastic itself was 50% of all the marine litter that was found. Fine. First the study. Second, Plastic Waste Management Rule 2016 में amendments हुए recently. We have studied about it. Thickness of the plastic sheet was increased. In 2016, it was increased from 40 micrometers to 50 micrometers. Then in 2021, it was increased from 50 to 75, and now it would be increased to 120 micrometers. We had also understood the reasons for this increase. It will increase the cost, it will increase the recyclability, it will reduce the chance of it being consumed by animals, and it will also reduce its mobility. Right? Why thickness increases? Then 2021 amendment also banned single-use plastic from 1st of July 2022. Many different kinds of single-use plastics have been banned. हमने detail में पढ़ा था. Then it also provided that extended producer responsibility mechanism would be brought for that single-use plastic that has not been banned. For example, packaging plastic, the polybags that you carry while buying vegetables and all, that is not banned, but uska extended producer responsibility guidelines were brought recently to deal with that. All these things will help us fight marine plastic pollution. हम जब marine plastic pollution से लड़ रहे हैं, are we contributing to blue economy? Yes, we are contributing to sustainability of blue economy. Fine. Then Swachh Sagar Surakshit Sagar initiative. What was this? It was a 75-day program, awareness program to clean 75 coasts in the India's coastal region. It culminated on 17th of September, which is International Coastal Cleanup Day, where we cleaned coastal. So देखो, is this initiative also a step? Will it be fighting marine plastic pollution? Yes. If we'll clean plastic from the coastal areas, chances of it going into ocean would be very less. Is it contributing to blue economy? Yes, it is contributing to that as well. Then UN का ocean conference था Lisbon में, where India has assured that under Prime Minister Modi, we will be committing to protecting at least 30% of our land and water and ocean. Protecting matlab preventing pollution and all by 2030. This is called 30 into 30 mission. 30% of our land, water and ocean would be protected by 2030. लिस्बन में ये वी हैव कमिटेड. In fact, India is part of this high ambition coalition for nature and people, which was initiated at the One Planet Summit in Paris in January 2021 to promote international agreement to protect at least 30% of the world's land and ocean by 2030. And India has said that we would be doing that. Then there are international cooperation also, which India is part of. There is one CLIP initiative, Commonwealth Litter Program, through which India is collaborating with other countries to fight plastic pollution. Fine. So, key steps that are being taken by India to fight marine plastic pollution. I hope 4-5 steps हैं. अगर पूछा जाता है तो we will be able to write about it. Then there are international initiatives. There is London dumping regime. This London dumping regime prohibits dumping of plastic waste at sea from vessels and platforms. Similarly, there is MARPOL, International Convention for Prevention of Pollution from Ships. It also regulates both deliberate and accidental discharge of plastics from the vessels. But the problem with these two regimes is that it doesn't get implemented effectively because regulation, international waters में regulation कहाँ से हो पाएगा? अब ऐसा तो है नहीं कि एक पुलिस वाला खड़ा रहेगा, तुम ये गिरा रहे हो. इंटरनेशनल वाटर में कई बार वो शिप कई किलोमीटर तक अकेले रहते हैं. And if they dump something, no one is ever going to see. वही हम बोल रहे हैं. But the problem with both these rules is lack of enforcement. It is hard to monitor and enforce the prohibition on plastic pollution from these vessels. Flag states often lack incentives to do so. Flag states मतलब the countries जिनका वो शिप है, वो शिप किसी कंट्री का फ्लैग लेके चल रहा होगा, they do not have a lot of incentives to regulate it. They could have done कि how much plastic are you carrying? Are you bringing that back? That much plastic? No, they are not doing that because they do not have a lot of incentive. And international initiative होने के बाद भी plastic pollution has remained a concern. So how do we deal with marine plastic pollution? अब देखो, there is some random way forward that I have written, but marine plastic pollution से कैसे लड़ें? You should have your own way forward. First of all, any question on pollution comes, you talk about RRR, reduce, recycle, reuse. पहले वो कि सबसे पहले हम जो पोल्यूटेंट है वो ही कम कर दे. That would be crucial. That would be important. Right? Here, all the steps that we have talked about in plastic pollution wala booklet would be crucial, would be important. Because we are talking about marine plastic pollution, it would also be important that international cooperation happens and these international conventions get effectively implemented. वो भी होगा, right? In your way forward, this aspect should also be there. Similarly, regular beach cleanup campaigns, जैसे अभी हमारा एक campaign चला था, would be important. Other steps enforce international more R&D. Plastic is something that remains in nature for a long time. Development of enzymes, development of mechanisms so that newer varieties of plastic, alternatives of plastic could be brought, or decomposition of plastic can happen in a faster manner. So here, global community is putting in a lot of money in this research and development. This needs to be further enhanced. We cannot say that plastic से deal करने का कोई और mechanism नहीं है. We'll have to either develop an alternative or develop a mechanism to cleanly, sustainably, in a green manner dispose of plastic. Fine. So this was the topic on marine plastic pollution. सब लोगों को समझ में आ रहा है? पक्का? Okay. Let's go to the next topic, coastal erosion. कुछ doubts हैं online. Does it counter strings of pearl China under one belt and one road initiative? अब देखोगे बहुत ब्रॉड लेवल पे बोल दोगे हाँ इट इज काउंटरिंग, बट सागरमाला इज मोर ऑफ अ इंडिया सेंट्रिक इनिशिएटिव. एक सागर इनिशिएटिव है हमारा. हम वो बोल सकते हैं कि वो बाकी कंट्रीज से भी कोऑपरेट कर रहा है, तो दैट इज काउंटरिंग इट. दुष्यंत कुमार सेड इम्प्लिसिटली. यस, इम्प्लिसिटली यू मे से, बट स्ट्रिंग ऑफ पर्ल को काउंटर करने के लिए just developing port-led development in your country would not be good enough, है ना? You have to increase cooperation with other countries, increase investment in other countries. All those things would be needed. चलिए, coastal erosion. Let's come to coastal erosion. What is coastal erosion? ये अजय क्यों आए हैं? कुछ तो करेगा ये लड़का. क्या कर रहा है? कर ले हो गया. ये सही काम है ना, एक बटन दबा दिया इसका काम हो गया. हम यहाँ दिन भर रात भर टाइप करते हैं, फिर आके यहाँ बक बक करते हैं, फिर जाके कल के नोट्स प्रिपेयर करने हैं. Let's come back to coastal erosion. What is coastal erosion? होता क्या है? At very basic level, wearing away of land and the removal of beach and sand dune sediments. Coastal area में land is being worn away or sand dunes etc. from beaches are being worn away. That is what is coastal erosion. Coastal area में erosion हो रहा है. Coastal erosion mostly takes because of wave action. Waves in oceans, they would come, they would hit the coastal area, they will wash away sand dunes, they will wash away sand from beaches, or they will wash away some land area. That will cause coastal erosion. There are other factors like tidal currents, drainage, or high winds. Sometimes winds also contribute to coastal erosion, but the most important factor is the wave action. Now, wave action depend on three factors, or how strong the waves are, they depend on three factors. The speed of wind blowing over the surface of the sea. If the wind speed is high, waves would be stronger. How long, length of pitch, for how long that wind has been blowing and has been giving energy to this wave, and for what duration, length of time has it been happening. All these three would decide the strength of the wave. More the strength, more would be the energy that will be that it will be hitting the land area or the beach or the sand with, and more would be the chances of it getting washed away. Now, what are the causes that in recent years? So, in recent years, what we see is, earlier coastal erosion is a natural phenomena. Waves to natural hai, it's a natural phenomena. But what used to happen was, some area mein erosion was taking place, in some area accretion would take place. So, land mass as such was not reducing. But in recent years, because of human activities, we see land mass actually reducing. There is more erosion taking place than accretion taking place. So, why has it happened? So, there are natural factors like waves, wind, tides, etc. There is phenomena of subsidence because of volcanic activities or because of tectonic activities. Sometimes land itself goes down, and that becomes a factor. Then severe storms or cyclones or tidal surges are some of the natural factors. But जो recent imbalance आया है, more erosion, less accretion, that imbalance is mostly because of human factors. When we are doing construction activities in coastal areas, then again we are not, जैसे हम floods की, when we were talking about floods, we were saying that in the flood basin we have constructed houses. So we are not allowing the river, once in 100-year river would overflow like anything, but that space should have been left for river. सब कुछ अपना समझ के exploit कर लेना ठीक नहीं है. Something similar has happened in coastal regions as well. This unnecessary construction have created issues. Infrastructure right up to the coast has created issues. We have damaged the beaches. We have damaged the flora there. Mangroves have been destroyed. Corals have been destroyed. Those coral reefs used to slow down waves. Those mangroves used to slow down waves, and they were able to capture the silt which was being brought by rivers and were contributing to accretion. But now, in the absence of those mangroves and all, these waves are able to erode much more than what was the case earlier. These are human factors because of which infrastructure creation, sand removal, sand mining bhi ho raha hai, that is becoming a cause of concern. Coral mining and other means of damaging it. Structure like sea walls, breakwaters. Now, sometimes what we are doing is we are creating sea walls. जैसे आप चेन्नई में जाओगे तो let's say this is the water area and this is the land area. To protect the land area, they have created sea wall. ऐसे 5-10-20 feet का wall बना देंगे so that ocean water does not reach here. Now this is problematic. One, it increases erosion on the edges where the sea wall is not there. Plus, it prevents this side of the beach from getting resources from ocean. And over the years, this would also reduce. So human activity for protection from coastal erosion is also contributing to coastal erosion. Then climate change is leading to sea level rise. Sea level rise होगा तो ज्यादा एरिया एरोड होने के चांसेस होंगे. Unscientific coastal management पे again allowing development to certain areas and vulnerable areas and sensitive areas in unsustainable way. If we'll grow, we would create issues, we would create problems. Yatharth Dikshit is asking, what is the length of a fetch? अरे यार बताया था. देखो, let's say this is the wave, sea wave, right, which is coming. Now it will depend on the speed of the wind. It will depend on वो कितनी दूर तक वो speed of the wind ocean उसको impact कर रहा है. If the speed of the wind was only till this place, the wave has been created, but this wave would weaken by the time it reaches the coastal area. Right? This is the length of the fetch. It will also depend on the time, the third aspect. Fine. So, I hope you have understood what is coastal erosion. We have understood the reasons behind coastal erosion. Now, there are some other factors which impact coastal erosion. That would be the kind of material which is there on the coast. That is primary factor. Erodibility of sea rock. If there is rock on the coast, the type of rock will also determine how much erosion will take place. If the rock is very strong, then its erosion would be slower. But if there are presence of fissures, fractures, or if the bed is non-cohesive, in that scenario, more erosion would take place. Power of the waves, beaches, if there are beaches slow down the waves. Beaches dissipate the energy of the waves and reduce what? Erosion. So, अगर beaches हैं या नहीं है, that also plays a role in how much erosion would take place. Adjacent bathymetry. Adjacent bathymetry में basically वहां पे ocean का depth कितना है, पानी का depth कितना है, is it shallow or is it very deep? If it's very deep, waves would be much stronger. If it's shallow, waves would slow down by the time it reach the ground, and thus it will also play a role in how much erosion is taking place. There are secondary factors like vegetation, human activity, etc. ये हमने अलग से समझा है. Now, what is the impact of coastal erosion? Now, here I've just written 1 or 2 points, but अगर आप impact देखना चाह रहे हो, तो first it will be infrastructure damage. We have seen the situation of Visakhapatnam. विशाखापट्टनम में कई बार रोड्स डिस्ट्रॉय हो जाते हैं बिकॉज वहां पे इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर राइट अप टू द कोस्ट क्रिएट हुआ है. दैट इज वन एस्पेक्ट ऑफ कोस्टल इरोजन. समटाइम्स कोस्टल इरोजन also lead to penetration of sea water inside. That creates other kind of issues. Agriculture becomes difficult. Those problems also occur. Now let's go to coastal erosion control methods. What are the ways by which we control coastal erosion. There are two broad ways. One is soft or non-structural mechanism. Soft or non-structural mechanism में we do not create any structure. A seawall बना दिया, that is not soft, that is a structural mechanism. So soft or non-structural mechanism. In soft or non-structural mechanism, what will we do? We would nourish the beaches. We will do artificial nourishment of the beaches. Beaches are there, erosion is taking place, we will bring sand from somewhere else and put it on the beach. That is artificial nourishment. So that when erosion takes place, this extra sand that was added, that will get eroded. It will not take away the land area. Coastal vegetation, growing of mangroves, growing of palm plantation, that can also be part of this soft erosion prevention technique. Dune reconstruction, rehabilitation, sand dunes which were there earlier, or even if they were not there, constructing those sand dunes so that they slow down the waves and thus slow down the erosion. These are soft methods. Most common method is beach nourishment. Now, beach nourishment involves addition of sand on beaches. It has certain advantages, erosion rokega, but it has some limitations as well. This sand will get eroded eventually. You will have to keep adding more beaches. So maintenance, you will have to keep adding more sand. Maintenance is difficult, and it would make the entire system expensive. At the same time, there are some advantages also. It does not unnecessarily create hazards like sea walls. Sea walls जब बनाते हैं और sea walls जब break होता है, तो it creates unnecessary problems. It will not lead to erosion of some other area. जैसे sea wall के केस में होता है. But इसके डिसएडवांटेजेस, कुछ और डिसएडवांटेजेस भी हैं. एक्सपेंसिव होना और पीरियोडिकली रिफर्बिश करने के अलावा प्रोसेस ऑफ नरिशमेंट में डैमेज, डिस्ट्रॉय और अदरवाइज हर्ट मरीन्स एंड बीच लाइफ बाय बरिंग देम. आप अगर बीच एरियाज में जाओगे, यू विल सी दैट इनसाइड द सैंड, जस्ट अंडर द सैंड, देयर आर अ लॉट ऑफ मरीन लाइफ लोकेटेड. क्रैब्स वगैरह यू कैन समटाइम्स जस्ट टेक देम आउट, बट इफ यू विल पुट इन अ लॉट ऑफ सैंड ओवर देम, they get trapped. Crabs are not found very deep inside the sand. They do not have the capability of going very deep and coming very deep out of it, coming at the top. Okay, they remain just inside the sand. So you destroy marine life, marine biodiversity, marine flora and fauna by this kind of thing. Then what happens is, if there is difference in grain size, the grain size of the sand which is there on the beach and sand that you are adding, this also creates problem. It changes how the sand affect the way waves interact with the beach. It may increase the erosion rate further, or it may create other kinds of problems. Okay, but still it is considered better than the hard method or structural method. What are hard or structural method? Sea walls. Sea wall, बीच पे आप एक वॉल खड़ी कर दो, एकदम कंक्रीट की वॉल. दैट इज अ हार्ड मेथड. और क्रिएशन ऑफ ग्रोइंस. व्हाट आर दीज ग्रोइंस? इट्स समथिंग लाइक दिस. लेट्स से दिस इज आवर लैंड एरिया एंड दिस इज आवर वाटर वाला एरिया. ओके, दिस इज आवर कोस्ट. Groins में what will do? Will create a perpendicular kind of infrastructure. What this would do is, this would, when the waves enter, this would break the waves. This would slow them down. This is also a structural method or hard method of controlling erosion, controlling coastal erosion. Fine. There are tetrapod based sea walls. Tetrapod based sea walls, I think I have covered it in the class. Tetrapod वो 4 पैरों वाला मटेरियल हम कोस्टल एरिया में भरते जाते हैं, and that's very difficult to move. That protects the coastal area. So that is there. So here again in this kind of system, you have to refurbish. wall will get damaged. When mountains get damaged by erosion, wall would also get damaged. So you'll have to refurbish the wall. Further, in recent times, understanding of natural shoreline functions have improved, and we have realized that it may create more problems than the benefit. Creation of a wall or creation of these kind of groins may create more problems. For example, it may add hazards to the ocean. Like when this wall breaks, unnecessary stones and all those things may go. It may transfer nutrients to other side. It may reduce the amount of sand which is reaching the beach. So in long term, it may be more problematic. They cause erosion to adjacent beaches and dunes and lead to unintended diversion of storm water and waves onto other properties. And those properties suffer more damages, unnecessary extra amount of damages. When storms come, earlier it was supposed to impact a large area, but in a large part of area, wall is there. So where would all that water go? That water will go to the small area on the corners, and that creates bigger problem for people who are living in that area, and that is unsustainable. Some people suggest that a combination of structural and non-structural methods can actually be beneficial. Small walls along with beach nourishment. So this or vegetation with some hard methods. These hybrid methods can bring in the benefits of both the hard and soft system while reducing the limitations of both the mechanism. It may increase the life of the protection which is being provided by these methods. Okay, so if we want to see what is the situation in India, like how much coastal erosion is taking place, Ministry of Earth Science had told Lok Sabha that about 34% of coastal region in India is under varying degree of erosion, and 26% is accreting in nature. So 26% coastal area में land area थोड़ा बढ़ रहा है, accretion is taking place, whereas in 34% what is happening? Erosion is taking place. So more areas are getting eroded. 40% is stable in the current scenario. So how do we deal with this erosion? Accretion is not problematic. Accretion is fine, but erosion is problematic. How do we deal with this erosion? To deal with this erosion, what we can do? We can follow this hard method, soft method based on our goals there, the area which is there, or we can go with the hybrid mechanism, or we can also focus on improving the infrastructure like roadways, backflow preventers, increasing distance between first floor and the base flood levels, so that we know that erosion and floods would occur in those areas and we are already adapting to it. Similarly, we can create resilient shorelines by preserving and restoring coastal habitats, mangroves, more palms, or we can relocate. One of the mechanism of adaptation is this. All this infrastructure would not be good enough if we do not fight climate change. And अभी जो COP की मीटिंग में चल रहा है, various reports which have come by World Meteorological Organization or IPCC, it shows that we are not doing good enough. So sea levels are going to rise. दिल्ली में नहीं आएगा पानी, but in coastal areas it's going to rise. It's better we start adapting to it. We start agreeing to the fact that yes, it's going to rise, and we move away from it. So while mitigating steps can be taken, adaptation also has to be kept in mind, and adaptation would mean that we adapt to the fact that erosion would take place, sea level rise would happen. Coastal erosion. समझ में आ रही है बात सबको? पक्का? ओके. कोई डाउट्स बिफोर आई गो टू द नेक्स्ट टॉपिक? नहीं? अरे पूछ लिया करो यार, मैं बोलते बोलते थक जाता हूं. कल से मैं एकदम गंदे से नोट्स बना के लाऊंगा. यहाँ सब सिस्टमैटिकली हो जाता है ना, तो सब चिल मार के पढ़ते रहते हो. तुम्हें ब्रेक किसने दिया? तो वो क्यों जा रहा है साथ में? तुम नहीं जानते उसे, वो तुम्हें स्टॉक कर रहा है. तुम जैसे ही उठे वो भी उठ गया. ऐसा हुआ है. तुम बैठो, क्यों परेशान कर रहे हो इस लड़के को, क्यों स्टॉक कर रहे हो? तुम बैठ जाओ, बैठो. अब तुम उसी की चेयर पे बैठोगे, है ना? अपनी पे जाके बैठो. चलो, तुम्हें कहाँ जाना था? जोर से आ रही है हैं? पानी पीने जाना था तो उसके साथ ही जाना है, एक ही बॉटल में स्ट्रॉ लगा के पियोगे दोनों हैं? टाइमिंग बस मैच हो गया, बैठो। व्हाट इज द प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ दिस हैपनिंग? टी-साइड टेस्ट करो उसका। वैसे सब लोग बैठे हुए हैं और एग्जैक्टली सेम सेकंड पे दोनों को प्यास लगी। व्हाट इज द प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ दिस हैपनिंग? क्लाइमेट चेंज एंड कोस्टल रीजन। क्लाइमेट चेंज एंड कोस्टल, ये रावण आया है आज क्लास में, बहुत बातें कर रहा है, पानी नहीं पीने दिया बेचारे को। एक एक करके जाएंगे, ये देखो पानी मिल गया इसे। अच्छा, कनेक्ट ब्राउनी पॉइंट्स ले रहा है। क्या? चलिए आते, क्लाइमेट चेंज एंड कोस्टल रीजन। हाउ इज क्लाइमेट चेंज अफेक्टिंग द कोस्टल रीजन? अब देखो, इरोजन की बात करी, पोल्यूशन की बात करी, हर जगह क्लाइमेट चेंज का एक रोल था, बट यहाँ पे हम सिंपली एक एक पॉइंट डिस्कस कर लेंगे क्लाइमेट चेंज से क्या क्या नेगेटिव इंपैक्ट हो रहे हैं। सबसे पहले सी लेवल राइज, क्लाइमेट चेंज, वार्मिंग, melting of glaciers, more water in the ocean, sea level rise taking place. Currently, every year, sea level is rising by 4.5 millimeter. This sea level rise is causing historical shoreline changes, wave climate changes that is engulfing landmass with economically potential physical infrastructure. This is leading to loss of land, erosion, flooding and salt water intrusion into coastal aquifers. कोस्टल एरिया में जो ड्रिंकिंग वाटर और क्लीन नॉन सॉल्ट वाटर की जो फैसिलिटीज है, वहां भी बिकॉज ऑफ सी लेवल राइज दिस वाटर इज रीचिंग एंड इज क्रिएटिंग प्रॉब्लम्स लाइक नॉन अवेलेबिलिटी ऑफ पोर्टेबल वाटर एंड अदर हेल्थ hazards. It is leading to homelessness, poverty, involuntary migration and loss of employment and increase in debt. Certain steps have been taken by government. They have created a hazard line map. Hazard line map is basically a demarcation which has taken into consideration tide, sea level rise, waves, etc. And by that they have identified the areas, lines, places to which damages may occur because of sea level rise in coming times. Then second thing which is happening in coastal areas is increasing sea surface temperature. हमने cyclones पढ़े हैं. You remember the 5 key prerequisites which were there for cyclones to occur. One was sea surface temperature around 27 degree Celsius or higher. That तो अगर sea surface temperature is increasing, cyclones के chances बढ़ेंगे, cyclones may become more intense and that is something that's happening. Then the sea surface temperature बढ़ने का, climate change से sea surface temperature बढ़ रहा है, which is increasing the frequency as well as intensity of cyclones. Second aspect, see, if you go to oceans, आप चेन्नई चले जाओ और कोई किसी भी कोस्टल एरिया में चले जाओ, you will not see a lot of variation in temperature of the water during daytime or night time, during summers or winters, right? Whereas on the land area, दोपहर में टेम्परेचर में भी 45 डिग्री सेल्सियस लैंड एंड रात में टेम्परेचर में भी 20 डिग्री सेल्सियस. दिस डजंट हैपन इन वाटर. वाटर में वी डू नॉट सी अ लॉट ऑफ टेम्परेचर चेंज एंड दैट्स व्हाई द मरीन ऑर्गेनिजम्स आर नॉट अडेप्टेड टू इट. वी आर यूज्ड टू इट. हम बाहर 45 डिग्री में घूम रहे होंगे और घर में जाके एसी में सो जाएंगे, राइट? हम दिन में 45 डिग्री सेल्सियस बेयर करेंगे और रात में 15 डिग्री सेल्सियस में. Our body is adapted to it, but marine organisms are not adapted to this kind of drastic temperature change. So they face, when the sea surface temperature is rising, even slight increase in temperature is causing biological problems, is affecting their migratory routes, is impacting the biodiversity by killing certain species. This is, we are talking about climate change का impact on coastal areas where we are saying sea surface temperature is rising. Rising sea surface temperature is causing more intense cyclones, is increasing the frequency of cyclones, is causing floods and all. But at the same time, it is also impacting fish migration, fish physiology, fish breeding, fish recruitment and habitat loss. It also enhances ocean acidification, salinity and longshore current patterns. Then another thing that is happening is shoreline changes. See, shoreline changes तो common sense है. अगर sea level rise होगा, coastal erosion होगा, shoreline changes would take place. Then frequency of cyclones and floods we have understood. Saltwater intrusion. Saltwater intrusion we can understand. If sea level rises, salt water would intrude. If storms would take place, more storms would take place, again salt water would intrude. Now what are the implications? Implication is that during summers, even wells are being intruded by salt water. What happens is this. Again, let's say this is my boundary. Here we have ocean water and here we have land area. In land area, there may be some well from where we are extracting clean water, drinking water. During summers, when the water level is very low, यहाँ पे तो पानी है ना, this water eventually penetrates into these wells and increases salinity of these wells, make them unusable. This is becoming more and more common. This is becoming more and more common. Then, because of over harvesting of water from aquifers, sea level rise, salt water intrusion is further increasing. एक तो summers के time water level low होता है, but aquifers से if you will over extract water, there would be less water available. Water from ocean would penetrate into it. The impact of this negatively impacts agriculture, livestock, hampers availability of drinking water, increases vulnerability of the coastal communities. Then droughts may also take place because of climate change in coastal areas. Why? Climate change, variability of monsoon, variability of rainfall. कहीं बहुत ज्यादा बारिश हो रही होगी, कहीं नहीं हो रही होगी. जहां नहीं हो रही होगी वहां पे ड्रॉट्स आएंगे. These droughts negative economic implications तो होंगे, but it may also have various health implications. Because I'm not getting enough water to drink, because I'm not getting clean water to take bath, also because other animals are not able to get enough water, those problems. Then reduction in capture of fisheries. We have already seen sea surface temperatures where fishery ka migration and all those things get affected. Their biology, their recruitment, all those aspects get affected. It will negatively impact overall fish production. This hampers food security for the coastal community. It also hampers per capita income. It increases conflict among fishing communities. Resource scarcity will create conflict. This causes increased poverty, distress migration, and thus increasing inequality. The problems which are happening because of climate change. So climate change coastal areas को कैसे impact कर रहा है? This is योजना का article. So what are the different ways in which climate change is impacting coastal areas? What is the way forward? Again, a way forward is given here, but you should be able to have your own unique way forwards. इसे पढ़िए, but खुद से फिर. When you will make your short notes, very short notes. I've talked about short notes in your class. When you will make your short notes after going through this multiple times, आपका एक natural flow होगा. First, you may say that, sir, first of all, we would want to identify hazard zonation mapping. Disaster management पढ़ लिया हमने. First, you will identify what are the different hazards which may affect different areas. कहाँ पे salt water penetration के chances ज़्यादा हैं, कहाँ पे erosion के chances ज़्यादा हैं, कहाँ पे fish productivity would get impacted a lot, so that our steps are taking place according to those hazards. Then evacuation and shelter location. More cyclones may be there, more floods may be there. Tsunami तो चलो earthquake से आता है, that is not because of climate change, but this would help even at the time of tsunami, where we have identified that these are the places where people would be evacuated to. Where we have done various mock drills. जब this kind of warning would come, you would all move to that place. we have done enough awareness generation of this issue on this. Then building codes have to become updated and have to get implemented. We may have more cyclones, we may have more floods. Your building should be able to sustain that. Your building should be able to deal with that. The older buildings have to be refurbished, have to be retrofitted with technology to ensure that they're able to deal with those challenges. In drought prone areas, in areas where drought chances would be high, we'll have to promote ideas like rainwater harvesting. We'll have to lead to creation of bigger tanks, ponds, where ground level water increases. We'll have to focus on watershed development. We have talked about watershed development briefly, तो पढ़ा है हमने. Then steps to maintain fish stocks. देखो फिश स्टॉक्स जो क्लाइमेट चेंज की वजह से नेगेटिवली हैम्पर हो रहे हैं, वी विल नॉट बी एबल टू डू अ लॉट अबाउट इट अदर देन फाइटिंग क्लाइमेट चेंज, राइट? बट another factor which is hampering fish stock is we are over exploiting them. We are over exploiting them. When we over exploit them, what happens? उनका population reduce होगा, unsustainable way में exploitation होगा. So what we need to do is we need to move from marine fishery to land based fishery. Land based fishery मतलब ponds and lakes में aquaculture करके more fish production on this side. This can contribute in a way in reducing demand from there. Fish stocks trends and assessment shall be conducted to develop policies and schemes to reduce over exploitation. Near shore cage culture, aquaculture, mariculture activities should be promoted with the participation of local communities under PPP model. Then increased support for R&D on coastal climate should also be prioritized. In the end, we need proper research and development on climate change कितना हो रहा है, किस एरिया को कितना इम्पैक्ट करेगा. That will allow us to take data-based decision rather than randomly doing things which we have done in the past. जिस एरिया में फिशरी बहुत इम्पैक्ट होने वाला है, उस एरिया में we have to promote more aquaculture. जिस एरिया में cyclones would become bigger issue, we'll have to focus on cyclone related aspects. तो ये इन सारी चीजों पे हमें थोड़ा ध्यान देना पड़ेगा. फाइन. तो coastal areas, how are they getting impacted by climate change and what should be done? Now I have written 4-5 way forwards, but when you will sit, you will read these notes, and when you will make your short notes, what will you do? You will yourself think, sir, would planting of vegetation be beneficial? Right? आपको हाँ, दिस इज समथिंग दैट कैन बी डन. आप वहां पे एक कीवर्ड लिख लो कि योर ओन वे ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग थिंग्स एंड राइटिंग योर ओन यूनिक वे फॉरवर्ड इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. ब्रॉडर आइडियाज आर दीज, बट अब सारे के सारे लोग एक ही आंसर तो नहीं लिख के आओगे ना, वैसा नहीं होना चाहिए. एंड दैट्स व्हाई आई आस्क यू टू गो थ्रू दोस कीवर्ड्स, बिकॉज व्हेन यू विल एक्सपैंड दोस कीवर्ड्स अगेन, यू विल एक्सपैंड देम इन योर ओन वे rather than copy pasting what is there in the notes. Why I say this? Because मेरा एम तो ये है ना कि सारे बच्चे मुझसे पढ़ें, है ना. तो सबके आंसर सेम नहीं होने चाहिए. सबके आंसर हम सबसे ज्यादा पढ़ाएंगे, हम सबसे अच्छे नोट्स देने की कोशिश करेंगे, बट आप सबके आंसर्स यूनिक होने चाहिए. पता लगा सब सेम टू सेम आंसर लिख के आ रहे हैं, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. बेटा एक्वा मरीन में ना जनरली हम ओशन वाले सिचुएशन की बात करते हैं. वहां पे जो सॉल्ट वाटर लेक्स होंगे, वहां पे जब आप यू आर डूइंग एक्वाकल्चर, एक्वाकल्चर दैट विल बी कॉल्ड मरीन कल्चर. एंड एक्वाकल्चर कैन बी फ्रेश वाटर. यस. अब तुम पानी पी नहीं जा रहे, जब अब तो पी लो. अब फिश का कलेक्ट एक जगह जब कलेक्ट होते ना फिश, एयरक्राफ्ट कैरियर्स. आई थिंक आईएनएस विक्रांत तो मैंने पढ़ाया हुआ है आप लोगों को, है ना. आईएनएस विक्रांत पढ़ाया हुआ. एक चीज सारे ये आप कर लीजिएगा. लेट मी कवर दिस पार्ट. इंडिया के अब तक के जो एयरक्राफ्ट कैरियर्स हैं वो प्रीलिम्स के लिए ब्रीफली लेट्स डू दिस, क्योंकि योजना में पूरा चैप्टर इस पे था। जो हमने पहला सेक्शन ऑफ नोट्स दिया है, एक योजना हैज नॉट टॉक्ड अ लॉट अबाउट सिग्निफिकेंस एंड ऑल, देयर फोकस वाज ऑन हिस्ट्री। तो हिस्ट्री ऑफ एयरक्राफ्ट कैरियर्स इन इंडिया, कौन कौन से एयरक्राफ्ट कैरियर्स रहे वो ब्रीफली देख लेते हैं। फर्स्ट इज INS विक्रांत, नॉट द विक्रांत which was commissioned recently in September. This is something that we bought from Britain. Britain में इसका development was started in 1945, but then it was stopped. It was only when India bought it, they started redeveloping it, and India finally commissioned it in 1961. It served India from 1961 to 1997, and in all the major wars in this period. For example, Goa Liberation War, India-Pak War in 1971, it played a very important role. Aircraft carrier क्या होता है ये हमें पता है ना? तो these aircraft carriers would have fighter jets on them. So you would see the Yojana was talking about these fighter jets had bombarded Cox's Bazar and all those places in Bangladesh. At that time it was East Pakistan. It also played an important role in implementing blockades. It was decommissioned in 1971. 1997. So it served us for a long period. It was INS विक्रांत. अभी वाले INS विक्रांत को हम बोलते हैं INS विक्रांत IAC, Indigenous Aircraft Carrier. This is not indigenous. This we bought from Britain, United Kingdom. Second is INS Virat. Now INS Virat has an interesting story. It is one of the longest serving aircraft carrier in the world. पहले it served the Royal British Navy. It served them for more than 20 years. उन्होंने जब इसका यूज करना बंद किया तो we got it refurbished and we bought it. And from you will see India, it was originally commissioned by British Royal Navy as HMS Hermes in 1959. India bought it in 1986 and we used it till 2017. And we renamed it as INS Virat. ये भी recently decommission हुआ था and I think it is being broken into पहले there was plan कि it will be created into a museum. Andhra Pradesh government was saying कि Visakhapatnam भेज दो, we will create a museum. Maharashtra was also demanding that, but eventually it has gone to where is the ship wreckage industry in India? गुजरात में है ना एक जगह पे. हाँ, it has gone there for breaking up. Sir, November part 1 done and part 3 is covering, but part 2 is not searching. भाई part 2 भी हो गया. Part 2 क्या ना हमने पिछले संडे को? We had covered part 2 last Sunday. सर बट आंसर तो लिखवाते हैं. अरे हाँ, मैं ध्यान से रह जा रहा है. कल हम पक्का आंसर लिखवाते हैं, कल 2 आंसर लिखवाते हैं. ठीक है, मैं इसमें क्वेश्चंस डालना भूल गया. इन एवरी क्लास वी हैव टू राइट एन आंसर. आप मुझे मिड ऑफ द क्लास में बताया करो, आखिरी में नहीं, है ना. चलिए, तो INS विराट. नाउ INS विक्रमादित्य, अनदर refurbished aircraft carrier. रशिया यूज्ड इट, रशिया का यूज खत्म हो गया तो we bought it, we leased it in 2013. It is the largest aircraft carrier which India ever had. It has a displacement of 45,400, whereas previous ones का displacement आप देखेंगे 28,700 और इसका और भी कम था 19,500. Do we understand what is meant by displacement? है ना. तो this is INS Vikramaditya. The ship is 285 meter long and 60 meter wide, largest ship of Indian Navy. It is a stow bar carrier. Stow bar हमारा जो नया INS Vikrant है, which that is also stow bar. So what is meant by stow bar? Short takeoff but arrested recovery. What is this short takeoff and arrested recovery? See, it's a ship. An aircraft, it's an aircraft carrier, so aircraft will start and will have to take off from the ship only. So they cannot have 200, 300, 500 meters the way we have it on airports and everything, right? So aircraft, the ships will support what is called short takeoff. Takeoff के लिए जो आपको length चाहिए, that will have to be short. And arrested recovery. What is arrested recovery? Now, even while landing, you do not have lot of land area or lot of length. आपने देखा होगा जब आपका प्लेन लैंड करता है, it keeps on moving for a long distance. It's not 200 meter or 100 meter. It doesn't stop in that. Right? It lands at a very high speed and then it slows down and it eventually stops. That's not the case here. यहाँ पे again aircraft carrier का length कितना है? 200 meters or something. Right? So they have arrested recovery mechanism. What is arrested recovery? When the aircraft lands, there are some wires which stops them, stops the or keep slowing them down. This is arrested recovery. The same mechanism is being used in our INS Vikrant. तो INS Vikrant our first indigenous aircraft carrier, इसके बारे में डिटेल में आपने पढ़ा ही है. फाइन. सो दिस वाज योजना. इसमें एक टॉपिक हमने नहीं किया है, वो ना इनकम्प्लीट सा था, तो आई नीड टू वर्क मोर ऑन दैट. योजना का जो पहला चैप्टर था जो कोस्टल सिक्योरिटी से डील कर रहा है, इट वाज योजना आर्टिकल वाज फुल ऑफ फैक्ट्स एंड एवरीथिंग. देयर वाज नो एनालिसिस इन दैट, तो आई नीड टू वर्क ऑन दैट मोर. मैं आपको वो आगे की जो बुकलेट्स आएंगी उसमें कोस्टल सिक्योरिटी करके एक टॉपिक के फॉर्म में वो पढ़ा दूंगा. फाइन. देयर इज अनदर स्मॉल प्री का फैक्ट. इंडियन नेवी का जो नया फ्लैग आया है उसके बारे में, ये भी शायद हमने करा हुआ है वीकली क्लासेस में, तो आई विल नॉट डू इट हियर. और जिनको याद नहीं है, जिन्होंने नहीं करा है, वो इसे एक बार पढ़ सकते हैं. ठीक है. आई विल सी यू टुमारो विथ नवंबर पार्ट 4. ओके. और जो बच्चे ऑनलाइन देख रहे हैं सब लोग लाइक कर देना भाई जाने से पहले, है ना. हाँ, क्या करना, लाइक शेयर सब्सक्राइब, ऐसा लाइक शेयर सब्सक्राइब कर देना सब लोग. थैंक यू.